Do you feel the pulse?
Yeah. GNT right back at it one more time. Hey, we are back, episode 94, and this is going to be a special episode. We have a special guest with us this night. I can't wait to get into it without any more delay. Bless you.
No, that was me.
Hey, we are right back at it one more time. Hey, it's time for me to introduce the crew. First things first, Bird Gang in the building.
Yes, sir. Let's go. I'm ready, man. Hyped up. You see the green screen. I'm at the MGM with it. But hey, look, man, let's get it. Episode 94.
Tone the promoter.
Yizzo. What's going on, GNT Sports World, man? Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode. Like I said, episode 94. So we're going to go with episode Charles Helly, man. Let's get it.
Nice. And before I go ahead and introduce the man of the hour, it's time for me to show y'all what this man do for a living. Here we go.
When you was going to bed, and if you think I owe you something, nigga, go on ahead. Treat you like I never knew you, put it on your head. And I got problems in my life, like when you coming home. My mama see it in my face, nobody dropping in my city all summer long. I don't bail, but I still gotta keep something on. So I can't let him take my life, you ain't get lucky. Make that right when he got left, it wasn't right, but he was trying to live that life. I call up cooler, but that jet, we like 3G, we pay that flight. We still land in California, play that studio all night. We staying down.
How you feel?
And in the left corner, the one, the only, the secret weapon, Rob Acosta.
What's up, y'all? What's up?
Wow, that's it.
I'm old, bro. I'm 42, man. Come on, man. What you want? I ain't say you want me to dance. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what to do. Hey.
Yeah, hit him with the celly celebration.
That's funny.
Rob, thank you so much for being part of the show this evening. We really, really appreciate your time and everything that goes along with it, man. We appreciate you, bro.
No, thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it. It's a great honor, man.
Honors definitely all ours. Instagram family, appreciate all y'all for stepping in, for showing up. Episode 94. Let's go ahead and get into this. Joel, can you tell us a little bit about our guest of honor for this evening, since y'all guys know each other so well?
I just met him last night. Nah, I'm just joking. Nah, man. Hey, look, man. Me and Rob go way back. But you know, like I obviously after, you know, school ended and all that stuff, everybody kind of went their separate ways and all that stuff. But then we reconnected. You know, we bumped into each other. I saw what he was doing. He was starting up a boxing gym, and you know, I just happened to be in the contracting field, and he had a boxing, you know, a boxing area that he wanted to get some work done. And then we started networking again, and little by little we just started reconnecting. And you know, it's like one of them things, like once you know somebody and you know how they are and they thorough and stuff like that, it's like you pick up right back up where you left off. Because I mean, that's just how it is with him and a lot of the friends that I got. And you know what I mean? Like he's doing his thing, and you know, I'm doing my thing in the contracting field, and they kind of came together, and we was just like, yo, like let's work. And you know, we got a few things to do, but I mean, look, man, Rob, besides the friendship side, I mean, he's strength and conditioning coach, and I'll let him tell you everybody that he's working with, has done work with in the past, and you know, things that he got, you know, in the works and stuff like that. But you know, my guy, you know, Rob, man, take it away, man.
My man. That's my guy. That's my guy. Now we've known each other for a long time, man. Funny thing is, right? I remember being in school and he was good at baseball. He was like really good at baseball. And he had a great opportunity and couldn't do it because life be lifing.
Right.
And he was supposed to be on a whole different level. And even though that journey didn't take him in that direction, he just took the guidance that, you know, he learned throughout the years. And now he's on a whole different level, but with contracting, with his business. So it's like, it's really dope to see somebody from when you were younger and then they grow into the person who they become later as an adult. And you're like, damn, this person went through a lot of stuff. Like, I'm happy to see that. Because let's be honest, man, how many of us can we really say we know people from our childhood?
Facts.
Yeah, man. You know, it's great to see, man. You know, when we become adults, like you said, like Joe said at first, you know, when you young, you know what I mean, y'all be in a sandbox together, you know what I mean, you come up through middle school, you know what I mean, you come up maybe even through high school, and then once high school, you know, ends, it's like, you know, that adult life, obviously your young adult life starts, you know what I mean, like you said, we all go our different ways, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? But obviously real recognize real, man, the circle always comes back, you know what I mean? And it's great to hear that, you know what I mean, y'all took different paths, but obviously the careers that y'all both chose obviously intertwined back together, you know what I mean, once y'all was older, you know what I'm saying? We grown, we got kids, some of us have grandkids. So, you know what I mean, it's definitely a great thing to see, man, especially being from the hood. You know what I mean? In a city, man, we always want to stick together, you know what I mean? Because we come from the same struggle, you know what I'm saying? And once we elevate and make that name for yourself, man, put that legacy behind your family, man, we go all tap back in and lock back in. It's a great thing to see, man. So thank you for joining the show, Rob. You know what I mean, on the
No,
night,
no,
man.
thank
I
y'all, man.
know I
Y'all.
I know it probably mean, you know, a lot to Joel, like I said, because of the history that y'all have, you know, from back in the day, man. But I appreciate it too, man. So salute to you,
Listen,
brother.
thing I could do to just to help anybody, bro, I'm with it. Because I wish things would have been like that for me when I was freshly in the business and things like that. And I got like a very small circle of those that did help me. So why not just, you know, play it forward?
Hey, just real quick. Sorry, my Instagram family. I don't know what happened, but something happened to our live stream on Instagram, but we got it back up and running. So we should be good to go. So sorry about that, peoples, but we're back up and running again. All right. One of the first things that we usually like to do, that I like to do, is whenever we have a guest, we literally decrease us and we increase our guest.
Okay.
For example, if you look up in the corner, you see the GNT symbol. That's no longer going to be there. Because once again, it's all about you, bro. So it's going to be about you. So there's your logo because it's all about you, the secret weapon.
I appreciate it.
No problem. So, hey, I thought we would go ahead and talk the serious stuff first because this is important. This month is very important.
Okay.
As we know, right now, it's all about Men's Health Month.
Mhm.
And we want to increase the health of us men. The most stubborn people in the world are men. We think that we're fine, even though we're not. I'm talking physically, I'm talking mentally. We think that we just everything's going to be okay. We need to get looked at. From your point of view, Rob,
Mhm.
and you're one that deals with every type of people,
Mhm.
you know, old, young, experience in the ring or experience in life compared to newcomers or what have you. From your point of view, what kind of advice would you give, any man that's out there knowing that this, the importance of this month?
Ooh, it's actually a good question. So I just want for all men to understand that that you're doing the best job that you're doing right now, and it's okay to feel overwhelmed. It's okay to feel stressed. It's okay to feel like you ain't got the answers, because in reality, throughout the course of our manhood, we were always taught that you're not supposed to cry. You're supposed to just man up and then go ahead and get this business done, or get this job done, or pay these or pay that, and then still be a dad, and then still be a provider, and still work and everything else. So on top of that, it's very hard for men to really take their health a lot more serious, because they're so distracted by what they believe is the higher priority. And it would be like, the bills, or the relationship, or the kids, or just life in general. You know what I'm saying? And what they do is they don't really concentrate on their health, because we were always brought up as, oh, everything's gonna be all right. Everything's gonna be all right. I'm gonna figure it out. It is what it is. These are common terms that we tend to use, and I want everybody to know that it's all right. It's gonna be all right, no matter what.
Yeah, I want to just piggyback off of that. From the first thing he said, as far as being a man, we taught not to cry. You know what I'm saying? Like everything, you just got to be tough, right? And I ain't saying go on this all out cry tour and be this wimpy person and what I mean, this and that. But think about a lot of people, man, who as a man, we have to be strong, so everybody else that's following us can be strong, right?
Yeah,
So yeah, we don't want to show too much emotion, but you know what I mean. If we ain't real with ourselves, you know what I mean? Like you can't be good to nobody else. Like you know what I mean? I grew up with with my dad and everything, and I can't even probably count on my hand how many times I actually seen him like cry,
yeah,
as growing up, being a young buck. So, me, wanting to be your dad, you look up to your dad, you know what I'm saying, if he's in your life like that, and you want to be tough, you know what I mean? I don't want to be. Let's think about when you was a young boy. You know what I'm saying? And you fell, and you know what I mean? You better not cry, boy. And it's like, no, this shit hurt. Like, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So
Like, so the
I might want to cry. I have
skin is off.
feelings. You
The
know what
skin
I'm
is
saying?
off.
Like,
You don't see it?
right. Like, yeah, like we got feelings. And I think
Yeah,
that sometimes feelings and men get overlooked and we shell them up so much. Think about, man, how many, people probably have just gone off the deep end, made a reaction or something because they got so much bottled in. They
yeah,
haven't expressed themselves the way that you probably should have.
right.
You know what I'm saying? There's probably a lot of men that's in jail or just out, the streets doing bad because they made a rash decision
Yeah,
because they wasn't ever really real with their feelings and letting them out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm no big crybaby or nothing like that. But listen, when something affects me, I don't care who's around. Like, you're gonna see that emotion, what I'm saying, on my face. And you know what I mean? I don't care who's around. Like, you know what I mean? That don't make me less of a person or less of a man or anything like that because I'm, you know what I mean, letting it out. And I just think that that's good, for you as a person. And then people that look up to you and see a little bit like of the vulnerability that, what I'm saying, some of us didn't have that, hey man, let it out, man. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? Express yourself so you can set that example and be that stone and that rock, that foundation that people want to follow, and look up to. So I just think that, expressing your feelings out on the surface, man, will really, really help a lot of people in this world.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you on that one, man. 100%. 100%. It's crazy too, because if we were just single men and we didn't have children, that'd have been a different animal. We'd be like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm about to get a shut off notice. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? But because it affects so much that surrounds that, it puts the pressure on. But that's what us men do. We work under pressure. You know what I'm saying? Each and one of us on in this screen here has worked under pressure before, whether it being, our own type of pressure or the pressure that others have put on us, and we just got to perform no matter what. So it's tough. It's actually very hard being a man every day. And I'm talking about like a real man, not a guy that just brainstorms everything and just doesn't put it into light. Like about men that get up every day, that they gotta do their job. Like there's how many of us growing up really got up and be like, man, I can't stay my motherfucking supervisor, but you gotta go anyway.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? To the point where we're probably the only species that really could sit there and be like, 16 hours left for sick time. So if I call out the day, then I got like, all right, I just use 4 hours. You know what I'm saying? Like we do that because we need our break too. But then men, we don't take our vacations. Women go on vacations on their own. They go with their girls. They do everything else. You know what I'm saying? We don't do that. We be like, yo, I'm about to go to the Eagles game. Y'all trying to roll? That's our go time. That's our piece.
Yeah.
And we don't get enough of those. And I think that should be something that should be very, very honored because everybody has their bad days. Everybody.
What's Sunday? Father's Day, right? Coming up, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not making no stink. I'm not trying to, you know what I'm saying, compare anything, but just look at how like Mother's Day is prepared or honored or looked at the week of. Like it's tables with bears, flowers, balloons, you know, all types of stuff on every corner that you drive by. I haven't seen a sock or a tank top table yet. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Listen,
at least do something like that. You know what I mean? Like,
bro, school just finished, right? We all agree on that.
Mm-hmm.
I want a chain with the macaronis on it. You understand what I'm saying? Like, what we talking about? Like, why is Father's Day all the way at the end? Like, yo, I haven't seen anything on Father's Day sales besides jeans, socks, and miscellaneous things. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But that's what I'm talking about. We're like at the bottom of the totem pole, but we're technically visualized at the top.
mm-hmm.
It's so strange.
Mm-hmm. Now, don't get me wrong. I know it might be, you know, some deadbeats out there that obviously, you know, knock that down. But the real ones, you know what I'm saying? Like the 4 that I would say on the screen, the real ones, we deserve better, man.
Yo, listen, it happens every day, man. It's just like, it's basically you wake up, you just gotta say your prayers, and then just be like, all right, let's tackle what it is today. Because at the end of the day, bro, you can't stress over nothing that's out of your control. You can't. There's nothing you could do. If you go outside and for any of y'all, like y'all working and y'all just have a shitty day, you gonna really let that shitty day take over the whole 24 hours, or we just gonna let it conquer you just for that little 1 hour or so? Then you're gonna relapse and you're gonna be like, man, you know what? That's in the past already. I'm gonna leave it alone and keep moving forward. That's the problem, is that we do too much of that. It's good, but we do too much of that, and it just turns into a different animal.
Right. Yeah. As far as from my perspective, man, I mean, a lot of the things that I deal with personally come up from all different types of angles. Specifically because I run my own business and you know, be working. So I'll be feeling that pressure, bro. Like, I ain't even gonna hold you, but somehow, some way shit get done. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. And you know what I mean? Just like you said, you got the work pressure, you know, trying to figure things out. And then, you know, everybody looking at you, trying to figure out how it's going, you know, how we going to get from point A to point B and accomplish those things. And then, you know, in the back burner, shit, I'm already a grandfather. I mean, you too, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you got that whole element where like, damn, I got to take out some time to build a relationship with my grandson because it's important to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And still maintain the relationship with my kids, even though they're a little older, but it don't even matter. You still trying to, like, you know, do all this stuff. And then it's like, damn, when's the last time I had a break and stuff like that, which is cool and stuff like that. But you know what I mean? It's what I signed up for. You know what I mean? I mean, hell, like we was talking about 7th grade and all that. I was already expecting the young boy in middle school. Rob knows. We saying in the lunchroom table. They're like, damn, Joe, you got a kid on the way already. But so you know, it comes to light, you know, when you start thinking about things. And you know, like one thing that I've done was, you know, just like write stuff down and look at, all right, what I will get done, what I got accomplished, just trying to prioritize things just to kind of like help get things through, you know, on a daily, just to get through on a daily basis and stuff like that. Not to mention, you know what I mean, all the financial responsibilities and stuff like that you have, and future plans that you're trying to, get ahead and things you want to do and put
Mhm.
yourself in a position not only for yourself, your family, or once that time comes that we're no longer here, like that's things that you kind of like start thinking about at the age
Right.
that we are.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you, bro. I'm with you all day. I'm with you all day.
One of my biggest things, and I try to tell especially the young men that that I get a chance to talk to, especially like at my church or people that I work with. Even like I gotta say this to some of the older guys that that should already be trying to live, you know, life the way that I kind of like the way I'm thinking. If it hurts, it's all right to say ow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's all right. Like, if that thing hurt you, it's all right to say, like, yo, that bothers me, or that hurt me, or you know what I mean? If you're hurt, it's okay. It's okay. You're not going to downplay your manhood because of the fact that you are hurting. You know what I mean? In fact, in my eyes, it increases it shows more of your strength by showing some of your weaknesses. You know what I mean? It's all right. You're hurting. Someone else might have been hurt by the same thing too. And someone else may have the answers that you need in order for them to go ahead and uplift themselves and in order for them to make it out of it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So like as men, we need to be able to go ahead and openly say, like, yo, that bothers me. But also too, have a group of people or circle around that you trust that you can go ahead and release that type of information to, that you
Yeah.
don't have to feel insecure about giving that type of information, and you'll be able to be okay with it. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
know I can talk to any of these guys on the screen here. Rob, I'm sure you're one of them as well. If something was bothering me, and I know I can talk to any of these guys that's here because
Mhm.
they literally have listened to me in my time of need. So
Yeah.
these brothers are definitely true for that. And I just want everybody to try to have that circle, and it's all right. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with that. The only one thing that I don't like, I don't like the narrative, the negative narrative on how depression is real, right? So we
Yep.
can all agree with that. I don't give a fuck who you are. Depression is real.
Mhm.
Depression is so obsessively dominating that it can really convince you that no one else is going through the same problems. No one really gives a shit about your problems. No one wants to hear about your problems. So what happens is you tend to bottle it in. But then we got to get out as us men sticking together to say, oh, that's what you're going through? That ain't nothing. That ain't a big deal. No, it's a big deal for everybody. You don't know what that person going through.
Mhm.
You understand what I'm saying? Like I could be drowning in debt with bills, 3, 4 bills, and they could be, I don't know, like $100 a piece. But I might have a sick kid. So my money ain't going in the bills, it's going on them.
Right.
So yeah, I might tell you like, yeah, man, I'm drowning in debt. I got shut off notice. Ah, man, that ain't deep. Man. You be all right, but you don't know the backstory.
Mhm.
So that right there will restrict the man to say, I ain't gonna tell him the whole thing. I can't show too much vulnerability, and that's the problem that we all have. We don't show enough vulnerability, but then when we do, we get shitted on, and then now we back on the high guard, and that
Right.
ain't cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, so I always want to piggyback off of the vulnerability statement that you just made, and then Kat, you know what I mean, which you have said. So about 2 months ago, you know what I mean, I joined a men's group or fathers group that that have children that's on the spectrum or have autism, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they meet once a month every Saturday, or not once a month on a Saturday, Zoom call.
Okay.
My very first time, you know what I mean, on that call, like the way their platform is set up is like, if you're on there, you say they give you 2 minutes to speak, just introduce yourself and what you're looking for, as far as you joining the group and whatever it is that you want to say. And just like you said, Rob, people have issues that other people you'll have as well. Like you're not by yourself, in a lot of things. And know that I didn't think I was the only dad that had, a kid with autism, and you know what I mean. But everybody's situation is different. And
Mm-hmm.
I got 3 children. I love all my kids, right? So I'm on there when it was my turn to to speak, and hearing the different things that these fathers are going through. It's like I deal with my son the way I deal with him, and he has his issues. But man, I was listening to these other guys, and it was a little bit, what I mean, on a higher scale, what I mean, as far as their behaviors or things that they was doing, what I'm saying. And I love all my kids so much that even when I talk about them on that kind of like that kind of platform or just pouring my heart out. I got emotional, talking about him, and what I mean. I let out some tears and just talking and talking about my son. And after I was like, everybody was in the, all the men that was on there was like, yo, I've been there before. Those tears is just love that you have for your son. They was like, let it out. You know what I'm saying? If that's what you have to do, we here for you. Like, you're not by yourself. And
Right.
like just being on in that group and being in that meeting, man, that day. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it opened my eyes. Like, Tone. I don't believe wear the struggles that I do think, because of course I've just, sometimes I was just like, damn, if my son didn't have autism, you know, I would be doing this with him or I'd be doing that with him, you know what I'm saying? But that just wasn't in my plan. I've been definitely comfortable, with that, what
Yeah.
I mean, with that situation in my life, what I mean? Because I was a big basketball player, what I'm saying, growing up, and of course having your son, what I mean, that's right up under you. Of course, that's what you would want him to do. What I mean, take him out to the park, let's play some ball, this and that. But God said, no, Tone, what I'm saying, I want you to be an advocate, what I'm saying, for a kid with special needs. And, that's the lane, obviously, like I said, I hopped into and, I got comfortable with and, joining these different groups and seeing different people, man. I look at life. I've been looking at life in a totally different, a different lens now, what I'm saying? Because, of course, when we was younger, you see people acting a way, you like, stop acting retarded. Like, what I mean? Like, that shit grinds me up right now, what I'm saying? Like, don't talk like that around me, what I'm saying? Yeah, you might not even be talking about me, what I mean, or anything I got going on, but it's like, I wouldn't want nobody, I don't care who you are, to talk about my son in that type of, what I mean, like, what I mean? Because, like, I know the struggles and I know what he goes through, what I mean? Because he's nonverbal, what I'm saying? Things like that. So it's a little bit, the scale would be different, man. But I'm glad I joined that men's group, man. Like I said, hearing from the different men, what I'm saying? Like, things that they go through, man. It was totally mind blowing, and I'm glad I did it, man. So, like you said, Rob, man, everybody may have an issue, what I'm saying? And yeah, it could be, swept under the rug, man. But we gotta put that out there, man, so people can know how we feeling.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, Joel, I think you wanted to say something earlier, but I think we kind of jumped in front of you.
No, you guys good, man. I mean, I'm just, agreeing with the conversation. I mean, it's just, look, man, it's one of them things. Like, I mean, like Rob was saying, Tone was saying, like, we look back at our elders and how, like Tone was saying, he never saw him cry. It was the same thing for my pop. I was like, yo, the only time I ever seen that man cry, my middle son Matthew, he had a kidney condition and stuff like that. He was in the hospital. Matt was the baby. He got an operation. He's sitting there in the hospital. I didn't even know he was coming. He ended up pulling up and he started shedding tears. First time I ever saw him cry. Because my son just got like a little short-term procedure and stuff like that. But other than that, you just always saw, just being strong, trying to get to work, trying to do his stuff. You know what I mean? Be that provider, but be that role model at the same time, and not have, that soft sides, for lack of better terms. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Just being like that. So it's one of them things that, like, I'm gonna tell you one thing, you know what I mean? And I know me personally, I know shit, Cat, you just went through it, Rob went through it. When you lose the people that you love the most, it really sets a lot of things into perspective, because I'm gonna tell you what, I'm a totally different person than I
Me-
was a year ago. You know what I mean? Because I started looking at things totally different, from a family standpoint, and some of the things that I used to think was like very high importance level, I'm looking at them things like, I can't even believe I was even not wasting my time, but worrying about those things, or putting a lot more time and effort to those things. And like, it's just one of them things that really helped me. Honestly,
Yeah.
it is a bad, is a messed up thing to say, but it really ended up helping me in a weird way.
It,
And it just, I'm just like really built different
yeah, yeah,
ever
yeah.
since that happened. I don't know if y'all could agree with that or not, but that's just my
I 100% can. Like, all right, so my mom, I lost to my mom to cancer. So the crazy thing is, the way that life was paved for me was a little bit different, where there has been plenty of times I went through some experiences and I couldn't quite put my finger on why I'm going through these things. But then as time continued, I start to understand what my purpose was for me going through that, for it to turn into this. So I lost my house, and I had a house in Swedesboro, and I ended up losing my house. And I was forced to move back to Philly. So I go back to Philly, and of course it was my mom's here. So I told her, I said, look, I'm gonna stay here for a little bit. I'm gonna get my feet together, and then I'm gonna roll. But for every single time I had the bread to go get an apartment, I didn't get approved. I wanted to go buy a house, I had to clean up my credit. It was always something in the mix, and I never understood why at the time. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, yo, man, is this like, why am I getting my ass kicked? Right? Months later, a doctor calls me because my mom got a colonoscopy done. I mean, a CT scan. So she gets a test done. Doctor calls me and she's like, your mom got, she has liver cancer. I'm the first one to find out. So that hit me like the way bricks, the way a bag of ice shatters on the floor. That's the way I felt. So I'm like I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. And again, back to what Joel and Tone was saying. You really don't see our parents in a specific limelight of knowledge because we look at them as that's my mom, that's my dad. I don't really talk to my dad. There's just certain things that are just unforgivable, but I don't speak to my dad. So I go to my mom, and I remember before I even let the words, I just broke down crying. And I told her, yo, my mom, Puerto Rico native, doesn't speak no English. She told me this like straight, raw, without breaking no character. She said, okay, I don't want no one to know. And I'm like, kind of caught me off guard. I'm like, what you mean you don't want nobody to know? I was like, you don't want, like, I started naming my siblings. I'm like, you don't want them to know? She was like, no, I don't want nobody to know. I just want to continue doing what I'm doing. I was like, why? And she said, because right now they're showing me the love that they really have for me. Once they find out I'm dying, now they're going to start popping up from out of everywhere and showing me the love that I don't need. Bro, that shit cut me so deep. I'm like, I didn't expect my mom to say that. And the crazy thing is, as time went, I sacrificed my gym. That's why I don't have a gym no more. I gave up my gym to take care of my mom the whole 6-7 months. So I said, fuck boxing, which is why I don't work with specific clients anymore. I abandoned the gym. I abandoned everything. And I said, I'm just going to focus on this. My relationship with my kids, they used to live with me. Now they don't live with me, but I'm focusing on my mom. So as time went, I started to see that. Like more families started to pop up, and now they're doing this, now they're doing that. So like what Tone said earlier, you get a certain build of not animosity, but more of like a quiet anger that builds up in you. You just explode. So one day they all come in here and they went to go see her. So they go and see her. And then after they show their respects or whatever, they finish seeing her, they go into the dining room and living room, and then they start socializing. They talking about politics. They talking about work. They talking about jokes. They talking about movies. So I spazzed. I said, I want everybody to get the fuck out. So my sister's like, you can't talk to family like that. I said, look. This is what we're going to do, right? What we're not going to do is act like we have a dying mother inside of a room and you just turned this shit into a social gathering. You could do that shit on your own fucking time. You could do that on the holiday time. You could do that on the messenger. Y'all could text each other. Y'all can link up somewhere else, but don't do it here. Because at the end of the day, and I started going right down the line, like I'm starting to point at people. I'm like, when this is all said and done, where are you going home? My sister's like, I'm going home. I said, okay. I told my brother, where you going? Yeah, I'm going back to my house. Okay, cool. Told my sister. Everybody said that they had somewhere to go. I was like, all of y'all got somewhere to go. Where? To y'all families. I don't have that. I got to stay here and watch my mom overnight. So I'm watching the progress 24 hours nonstop. Sometimes I didn't even hear from my kids. So it's like I'm watching the progress happen until her last breath. So I'm totally in agreement with Joe, because it changes, not just, it doesn't give you that kind of like that stamp of aggressiveness. It kind of gives you more of appreciation type of feel. Like, yo, I can't, like, why am I stressing about money, because at the end of the day, when you die and you go to the afterlife, you ain't taking your chains with you, your watches, your money with you. You ain't taking none of that. It's just a soul leaving. And I'm supposed to leave shit behind. How many of us don't even got a will? You understand what I'm saying? So this can happen at any time, and it does lock in a whole different mindset for you to be like, yo, I got to do better as a man. But not in the negative sense of saying like, all right, you know, whatever. Like you can look, if you can look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself in reality who you really are and what you can do better at, then I suggest you do that. But most people can't even look in the mirror.
Wow.
Yo, that's a Rob. That's heavy, man. What you just said, what your mom said, you know, as far as not wanting anybody to know, man, because you know that's making me like just look at, you know, something different, man. Like, you know, that's what happens, man. You know, you hear something about somebody, whether it's detrimental or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? It could be a job promotion. It could be people coming into some money. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, somebody hear that, family hear that, and they want to flock. They want to come around. They want to do things that they didn't do, you know, before. Like, yo, you ain't came to see me in 5 years. All of a sudden, you know, I got this life, you know, battling, you know, ailment, or I came into some money, or you know, I got a bigger house with a pool, or whatever the case may be. Now you want to come around like, nah, man, keep the same energy, you know what I'm saying, that you were showing me before. And, you know, like I said, me hearing that you said your mom made that statement, man, like I said, it's doing something to me, like to want to, like you said, be better as a man, be better as a person. You know, look yourself in the mirror, you know, take that self-reflection. Like, look, you know, there's some things that I have to do better, you know what I'm saying, to be, you know, a better person. You don't want to be looked at as, you know, fake or phony, you know what I'm saying? You only coming around for this type of, you know, situation. Like, you know, I can't remember the last time I went and seen my grandma. So, you know what I mean? Me saying, you know, talking on this right now, I gotta go make, you
You
know what
just
I'm saying, a plan to go see my grandma, because, you know, I wouldn't want something to happen to her, or you know, say it'd be too late and I ain't pull up and I'm living with regret, or I'm living with that, damn, you know what I'm saying? I've been telling myself, you know, to do that, because, you know, I talk to her, you know, from here to there, and she's asking about my kids and, you know, how big they get. And I haven't, you know, done that in a while, you know what I'm saying? So, yes, I take ownership, you know, of that, man. And like I said, making me move a lot different, man. So that's heavy, you know what I mean? Rest in peace to your moms, bro.
it's tough. And then the crazy thing is, throughout the course of me losing my mom, like within that year, you know, Joe lost somebody. You know, I had another friend. They lost their mom. My homie lost his dad. Like, and the thing is, you want to be supportive. You want to be there for your folks, but then it triggers you because you like, yo, man, like I can't see certain things because it's just gonna go backwards, and then I'm gonna get fucked up, and I can't sit there and be there for you if I'm messed up. And that's the hardest part, bro. Like it's hard, but we just gotta know that the love is real and the support is real from genuine people rather than you doing it for likes. You know what I'm saying? For you know, for the you know what I'm saying.
Absolutely. And look, I would
Yeah,
say,
definitely, man.
sorry, Joe.
Go ahead,
Go ahead,
Cap.
go ahead.
Nah, so just that. I mean, look, like we started. You know, me and Rob got a history as far as how far back we go. So you know, when all this was transpiring, and us, you know, obviously he was going to social media, posting a few things. So like, when you know somebody and you know stuff, you know what I mean. Like I already peeped, and I'm like, yo, I got to make sure I'm there for my guy that day. You know, for the viewing service and all that, and I'm there for him, but like Tone was just saying, it started putting things in perspective for me, and it got me prepared for like what happened to me, like immediately after. You know what
Wow.
I'm saying? So I
Wow.
was sitting there, and I'm like, yo, and I'm not going to take up too much time. So I started like, you know, and I always checked in on my mom and all that stuff, and my dad. It was living down in Georgia. I'll visit often. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to get into the rest of the family stuff, but you know what I mean. So I started like one trip I went down there, I saw a quick decline with both of them. And I'm like, whoa, like this is crazy. So I get back to Philly and I'm start letting the family know, like, yo, I'm just letting y'all know, like, you know, normally I don't call you, I don't tell you nothing, but I'll be surprised if she makes it to the next year.
Mhm.
Same thing for my dad. Boom. Tell the family. So we set up a trip. I'm like, look, this what we planning to do. She about to turn 90. It's her birthday, back to back. Her mother's usually around Mother's Day. Let's go down there, celebrate her, blah, 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 boom, boom, boom. So a few people decided to go. Coordinated the whole thing, got the Airbnb, set everything up. Everybody came down. We do the whole trip. Everybody thanking me. I'm like, you know what I mean? And look, I apologize to my family. And look, little Miriam's on here now. And they probably going to see this episode. But look, I ain't do this for y'all. Like, y'all, it didn't have nothing to do with me wanting this cousin, that cousin, my brother, anybody to go down there. I just knew it was going to mean the world to her that we actually made an effort to get down there and celebrate her 90th birthday. And look what happened. She ain't make it to 91. You know what I'm saying? So it's like one of them things where like that one instance where I'm there trying to rock out for my guy, and bro, like, look, man, I saw Rob at like sitting there, bro. Like, I don't even think he even knew I was there because he was just in another place.
Yeah.
When I saw this man, and I'm like, damn, bro, I just sat there in the corner, like, damn, feeling helpless as hell. But it really prepared me in a weird way for like, and I just like, yo, I gotta make sure I get that time with the family, make sure everything's cool. You know what I mean? Because I know, just like he was, man, as soon as I start finding out I'm on the job, down the shore, fixing up a kitchen, I get the call. They FaceTiming me with my dad passed away. They put an American flag over him, I'm like sitting there like in the middle of a job. Like, I'm like Matt there with me, my son. I'm like, yo, they just my other son and my boy Kev that worked with me. It was right to the job. Me and Matt was staying there. And I'm like getting the news, like, oh, snap, like early in the morning. So it was like one of them things like where it's like we were just talking about, job still had to get done because we working in this condo on the beach trying to get it done.
Yeah.
Just lost my dad. I'm sitting here trying to like hold it together. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta call the family. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. Oh, finish painting this. Finish setting this cabinet. That's what I'm telling you. Ever since that day, ever since all this happened, it changed everything. I'm just like, yeah, these things can wait, man.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's just crazy how things work out. And just something to touch on, like what Rob was just saying. Everybody handles things differently, and I was one of the ones before, like where I'm like, oh, such and such didn't pull up, they didn't call. And everybody got their real different reasons as to why they don't show up to certain things in that nature or whatever. But soon as I seen certain people and they knew, like the real ones, like Rob, everybody that's close to me, they're like, yo, whatever you need, I got you. Yo, I heard, like that. And you know what I mean? Like, you just can't expect everybody to be to certain things like that because they have their own reasons. Or it could be simply a religious belief as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I definitely agree with everything that we've just been going back and forth with as well.
Yeah, it's deep.
The one of the biggest things for me is us as people, we need to not hide the testimony of what we're going through, the testimonies and the wins and the victories that we have. Because Rob, you didn't even know that you, with everything that you've gone through, with the strength and everything, that you didn't even know that you was even showing, that was the thing that Joel saw that helped him through his situation.
Yeah, that's the first time I heard it. I didn't even know.
Yeah.
It's crazy because I really don't. That day, that funeral was a blur to me.
And look, and it's crazy because I saw your face. I saw your face as soon as he said it, and I was like, yeah, Rob didn't even know how inspirational you was in his situation because of what you went through. Mm-hmm. And Joel, what you don't know is that how inspirational you were for me when I lost my grandmother, and I saw the resilience of you.
Wow.
And everything that you went through, and I knew the weight that was on you when it comes to the whole family dynamic and everything that was going on with that. So like, I didn't have that type of weight, but in the same token, No, I knew that I was going to be okay because I saw my examples in front of me. Because
Wow.
you just literally just went through it. You lost both mom and dad at that, around the same time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I knew how tough that was.
Yeah.
And go figure that, Rob, your strength gave Joel's strength. Joel's strength gave me the strength in order for me to make it through. So
Wow.
you by yourself made this whole entire circle happen of strength, and you don't even know that you even showed it.
That's crazy.
But that's how vulnerable that we need to be, and that's how valued we all need to look at each other.
I
We
agree.
all can strengthen each other. Iron sharpens iron. We can
Yeah,
all sharpen each other.
I agree with that 100%.
Yo, think about, man. Yeah, like you just said, Kat. You know what I mean? Joel. You know what I mean? Definitely showed a different side of that. You know, when he went through that, man. Because think about that funeral was the day we had our first event, and I bet you can ask anybody who came to our event if Joel, you know what I mean, like had a loss or you know what I mean, was just
Pray.
not himself, you know what I mean, that day. You know what I mean? But Joe kept it together. He still wanted to do the event. You know what I mean? Like I said, everybody handles things differently. I can't say how I would have, felt on that day to maybe even want to go through with, being at the event, not obviously shutting the event down, but just, being there or being in the same, light. He still came, still had a good time. Doesn't mean that he wasn't thinking about it, wasn't on his mind, wasn't going through, but he showed up, for us and for himself as well. You know what I mean? And just, he's definitely Joe, man. Definitely is a big inspiration as far as that goes, man. You know what I mean? Because I know it was heavy. I know it was tough, man, carrying that, you know, those feelings, man, into that night, man. But you did it. You know what I mean? You still here. You know what I mean? Still rock and roll. Still, like you said, got to be strong for your boys, your grandson, for your business. You know what I mean? And everything that you got going on, man. So for sure, bro. Definitely, you know what I mean, showed me a different side of you, you know what I'm saying? And helped me, like I said, prepare me for, future endeavors, like that.
Nah, man, I appreciate it, man. But I was undecided, to be honest with you, when we were talking about it. But you know what I mean? Like everybody, and this was the reason why. And I don't know if you guys remember when I told you, because like again, we put this podcast thing together. We ain't think nothing was gonna come out of it or anything like that. And we started getting involved and started networking, and then now everything was on the table. Like I met with the owner Raul over at Dimensions, and we had words as far as like what we wanted to do. And then I'm like, damn, this is the first event, and I'll be damned if like everything we work hard for just going, just the opportunity of either someone being understanding or not understanding jeopardize the time and effort that we put into something. And I'm like, I'm not letting my team down or anything like that. And in the weirdest way, you know what made my decision? Because I didn't even know this. So my aunt came from Georgia, dad passed away. She's staying at the Airbnb, all the stuff, yada yada yada, whatever. She comes up, we set. She's like, "Yo, pick out the suit. I'm getting a suit, getting it ready for the. Got to drop it off the funeral home. This and this and that. After we get all that done, she's like, I got something for you. I'm like, what you got for me? She hands me over the Eagles hat that I gave him for Father's Day with his name on it.
Wow.
That I said during the podcast, that event. I said, that's the sign right there. That's the green light. And I knew like the type of man my father was. Like he like, nah, man, like you need to. He would have frowned it upon me if I would have just sat in the corner, went home, and just sat there and just like, nah, you know what I mean? Like I'm just gonna be in my emotional bag right now, and yo, like it took everything in me and the strength, from high above him watching over me to get through that. You know what I mean? And in hindsight, yeah, I'm like, bro, something else that happened too. Somebody that supports this podcast, Keith, Mr. Know It All, he pulled me aside during the Eagles playoff run. He lost his father, and he's like, bro, we won in the Super Bowl. And he's like, you know why? Because because both of our fathers passed away. And you know what I mean? Like we kind of like laughed about like, yeah, you know what and they actually did. Like it was crazy how it ended up happening like that. But you know what I mean? Like he talked to me on the corner one time when we was at Dimensions, you know, during that playoff run. But it was something that, you know, again, like when my like was a pair of socks that he had, these green socks and with like the eagle stuff on there, and then gave me that, gave me the hat, and I'm just like, yeah,
That's dope.
I'm definitely doing it. That was like the green light. But yeah, man, like look, man, I appreciate you guys for saying that, but look, man, it was more I was just rocking out more so for everything that was at stake because I'm like, yo, like we got too much momentum, everything's going well, and I'm not letting any opportunity, you know, like fall by the wayside like that.
Yeah.
So
Now, I'm going to pause right now just so we can read this. This is my daughter. This is my eldest daughter that's in Colorado. Said, "Thank you, Dad, for taking that strength and bestowing it upon me." Said, "It's what I needed to support the other side of the world." She's in Colorado. Baby girl, first off, you know how much I love you. So that's not even the question. That's my baby. That's why I do the things that I know I do. You know, be transparent amongst everything, especially my kids.
Yeah.
You know, so my kids can see that strength in me and then say the strengthens them. And since it's about to be Father's Day, I needed to see that too. So I thank you, honey. I really appreciate it. There you go. The whole GNT crew. Yeah, we all appreciate it. You know, look, because we all fathers and we all loving fathers. And I'll give up everything. She knows this. I'll give up everything, my whole entire world, to make sure that my kids are taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care how old they are. And I'll do anything that I can to make sure that they're in good shape.
Yeah.
And my older kids, well, all of my kids are such responsible, beautiful people. And I'm so happy to say that. And that if I get any kind of credit on that, just a little bit, I'll take it. Because that means I did my job. You know what I mean?
That's dope.
Beautiful said, Rob. What he didn't know was when he posted about his mom and missing her. My mother recently declined in health and passed the scare of heart attack. I want to go ahead and keep this on. Gather my siblings together to make amends. Also, a big shout out to Rob for helping me through my progress through anxiety and seeing things differently. That's from Miss Yasmin. It's good to see you, my dear. Thank you for showing up. We appreciate you. Look at that, Rob. You strengthening a whole bunch of people, man.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? I just wake up every day and just keep doing what I'm doing, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, funny thing is, my mom always used to tell me too. She'd be like, "Yo, you're supposed to do something. I don't know what it is, but you're supposed to do something." Then later, she's like, "You should be a doctor." And then after that, she's like, "You should talk to people. You have this way of putting words together and putting things in a different light." And da da da. And I mean, you know, this was years ago, and I'm like, "Yeah, I got you. I'm gonna be a barber though." And then look how it turns out. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm just glad that I can just, you know, help anybody, no matter who it is, how level or caliber it is. Everybody got to help.
Wow.
heavy stuff for sure. This episode took a hard turn to the free.
Yeah.
No,
Hey, Joe, I was just about to say that. I was just about to say that.
Wasn't we supposed to talk about sports today? Damn.
Bro, and this is what
just like the autism one,
why-
man. It seemed like one of them episodes.
Yeah, it happens, bro. I've been through this plenty of times, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to get into the details of everything else, but there's no need for that.
Right.
For another day.
Look, it's once again, things happen the way it was supposed to. I'm hoping that someone that's watching this can hear the strength of the people that's here and just kind of like grow from our situations and our circumstances and just see that you're not by yourself in anything. So It was meant to be. It was meant to be, guys. I mean, we are talking sports, right?
Yeah.
I'm glad you opened up with the topic though. Instead of what we text in the group chat as far as like the things we wanted to talk about, we could have took that avenue, first and then led into this. But I mean, this is a show or just a example or a topic that this month that needs to be talked about. I
No,
really feel as though we probably said some things that we haven't said before amongst one another, and as men, we need to open up, and we're doing that. This is
yeah.
a platform that obviously we get to talk, so people want to listen. So why not, talk about these things or go off of like let's just say topic, as far as talking to sports. But somebody out here listening to this show needed this, I'm saying right now, and that's what we here for. So shouts out to y'all, man, for driving this episode, the way we did, man, because it's definitely very informational.
Sonny D, men's mental health matters. Thank you. Thank you, Sonny. We appreciate that. And it's 100% true. It's 100% true. Wow. Okay. We went an hour talking.
Yo, but you know what's the good thing? Now
I
you
love
got 2 episodes. You got part 1 and part 2.
Yeah, part 1, part 2.
Absolutely. There you
Yeah.
go. So hold on. So we're gonna say right now, Rob on next week with us.
Whatever you want, bro.
Bam, let's go.
Whatever.
Right. To talk sports that time, right? I mean, we can still do the mental health because it's obviously June is
Yeah, we can still
So-
talk about sport. That I ain't got.
Right.
I already ran earlier, so I'm straight, bro. I ain't got
right.
nothing. Unless if y'all got something to do, but we could hit certain groups, certain conversation. That don't matter.
You know what? How about this? Because I am curious about this, though. I am curious about this. We kind of mentioned it earlier, and Joel, you can go ahead and throw the lob up. So, Keyshawn Davis, right?
Yeah.
That whole situation. Joel, go ahead, throw up that lob, bro.
I mean, Rob, me and him were actually, that's how he ended up being on the show, because me and him was going back and forth through the DM on IG, and I'm like, bro, actually, you should hop on the show. And then, one thing led to another, and we're here tonight. But
Yeah.
it was one of them things that, we wanted to get your perspective on, like,
The whole incident.
well, the first thing is him missing weight first.
Okay. So you want me to just take it as it goes?
Yeah.
All right.
Because
So,
I mean, that was the first thing that happened, which I think played a little part into what led to after his brother, his brother losing the fight, and then what happened after.
yeah, I mean, listen. I want a lot of people to understand that when a fighter sits there and tells you, I've been doing this since 2007, right? I started doing strength and conditioning in 2007. My first world title training camp was 2009. So I got years of how to properly do things, but of course, like anything else, is trial and error. The crazy thing is, right? I really don't care what someone tells me. It is true that you can outgrow a weight, but you outgrow a weight for the reasons of not what people may think. So a person may say, oh, he outgrowing the weight because he can't make the weight. Why can't he make the weight though? So what normally happens is, and this happens in every training camp, when a fighter gets done fighting, if we're talking about a 10-round or a 12-round fight, that fighter is fighting maximum 3 times a year. If it's a 10-round fight, we're going to say about 2 to 3 times. If it's a 12-round fight with a title, we're going to say 2 times a year. Let's just say, right? So if we divide that in 6 months per, that means you're fighting once every 6 months. If we're going to do the ratio, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is fighters grab their money, they pay who they got to pay, and then they go, they eat, they spend time with their lady, they built this intimacy levels and all this other stuff. And what happens is they say, man, I worked hard for this money. I worked hard for this title. I worked hard for this fight. It's time for me. And then they don't work out. So then what happens is they run into a wall. and then their weight is now like 180, but you're supposed to be fighting at 135. So then you get your agents, your managers, your promoters, whoever, and then they say, yo, we got to fight for you in September. You willing to take that? They automatically think, I'm going to get this money. Every fighter in the world, or if you're an athlete in any level, they always say, I just need 2 weeks to get in shape. They always say it. They always use the word 2 weeks. I don't know why they do that. So they get themselves into a position where now, even though in hindsight, you fought twice, but a whole year went past. So now you're a year older. How many things can we really say has changed within the last year in our bodies to the last year? So what happens is your metabolic rate starts to slow down. And you're not really exercising it because you're so much of the laziness. If you work out for 6 to 8 weeks, 2 times within the whole year, that's 2 months training camp. So in total, you worked out 4 times, 4 months in a 12-month period. Your metabolism starts to slow down. So now you go from 180 and now you're bitching because you can't make the weight no more. That's your fault. So I always tell my fighters, listen, if you're gonna go enjoy the vacation, you're gonna enjoy your festivities, you're gonna enjoy the money, you're gonna do everything, cool. At least run though. Like at least give me 2 miles, 3 miles, 2-3 times a week. Don't do nothing crazy. Just zone out. And what they do is they don't. They just go ahead, celebrate, eat, and then boom, they come back and they got this crazy ass belly, and they like, man, just give me like 2 weeks, I'm gonna get this joint down. And then next thing you know what they do? They stop eating, they go into a fast, they don't drink water, because for some reason, a lot of fighters believe that if you drink a lot of water, that puts more weight on you. I don't understand that one. And then they don't use the sauna, then they think, oh, I'm gonna just hit the bag and spar, but then us as fighters, you hit the bag and then you gas out in 4 or 5 rounds, but you just fought 12 rounds. So now it puts a mental toll on you. So that's why people can't make the weight, because there's no excuse. Floyd Mayweather made the weight. He never walked over a certain amount of pounds. Bernard Hopkins made the weight. He never did that on a specific amount of pounds. Now, do fighters grow as adults? Yes. If you do strength and conditioning and you exercise your body, if you do enough push-ups, you will develop muscle mass. It's just that's what it is. So you will get bigger, and it could be where you losing body fat, or it's a possibility, depending on how you lose the weight, you start losing muscle mass, then you end up like Virgil Ortiz, where you end up hospitalized and all these other things because you're dehydrated, your body goes into a shock. So that's what happened with Keyshawn. Keyshawn didn't try to lose the weight. He basically got lazy halfway and said, fuck it, I ain't going to make the weight, and I ain't going to tell nobody either, which is your very unprofessionalism. We have to conduct ourselves in a very high professional manner. So if you're going to be in a high level, you fought in the Olympics, mind you. You know what I'm saying? Not once, but numerous times you've been in high levels throughout your whole life, and you made the weight fine, but then you got a couple dollars, and then you got a belt. You got gifted a belt. You got Lomachenko vacated. He retired. They blessed you with a belt. Cool, that's what's up. Congratulations. But how you not take that as motivation? You're gonna get the belt, then you lose the belt, and then you fuck up your career all in the same weekend. So who's ignorant now? I'm just disappointed in how everything was conducted, because we talk trash about Ryan Garcia coming over, then we talk about Devin Haney looking drained, then we talk about Tank, and then we talk about this fighter and that fighter and this fighter and that fighter. Man, let's keep it a bean, man. Fighters sometimes get lazy, and that's the reality of it. They get lazy, and then they don't want to continue to lose the weight, and then they looking all weird and shit. That's the truth.
I like Adrian Broner, man. Adrian Broner was like that to me, man. Just would get big, and then I was like you said, try to lose the weight after that. I'm like, why does this dude wait? Like, what are you doing, man?
And that's my whole point of why I feel the way I feel about Canelo and Crawford. You know what I'm saying? But going back to the Keyshawn Davis thing, Now you don't fight. All right, I'm gonna put you all three of y'all in the eyes of a promoter, right? You invested, let's just say $1 million in a Keyshawn. You put out another series of money. You got sponsors, this and this and that, for one specific fighter to headline your own hometown because it was such a great success the last time. You come in over, you don't care that you came over, you lose the title, the negotiation went to shit. So now we got to move the thing up. Then everything goes up. Then your brother, he fights Wu, loses to Wu, takes the loss like a man. And now Keyshawn and Kian are mad because your brother lost to a singer. You see what I'm saying? So now y'all want to jump this man behind the stage. So now Top Rank Bob Arum is looking at it like, oh, all right. So not only did he cost me to pay Edwin De Los Santos $600,000, I still got to pay this person. I still got to pay this. I still got to pay that. And 2,000 people are asking for refunds in this arena. And the man that I did this all for had to get escorted off the property because of some fuck shit you want to do. How will you feel as a promoter? You be livid.
Yeah, I don't see how anybody could really take him serious. I mean, he's going to have to damn near fight for free or something like that to be on somebody's card.
It's got to be a
from this point on.
There.
Because he's going to be on a prove it kind of deal now. You know what I mean? Like a super incentive base like type of thing.
Yeah.
You know, but I was shocked like how everything happened in all in 1 week. I'm like, damn, bro, like what the hell? And you know, like I was following him. I thought he was a decent fighter and stuff like that. But then the way he handled it, and then not to mention like the whole family, like he had his kid there getting into altercations, like you know what I mean? Like you know how it is in Philly, anything can happen. So it's like, bro, like something drastically could have went left and put the kid in danger or anybody else innocent bystander or whatever it is.
His son was there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, in the stroller.
Throwing punches, and then while you getting broken up,
you go grab him
up to try to chill everybody, you want to run to your son and pick him up now.
Right.
He should have hadn't even been there. First of all, your brother lost. If there's anybody that should be pissed, it's your brother.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But it was the whole thing behind it. Now, fun fact. I was working with Wu for Keyshawn. I worked with Wu for him to fight Keyshawn. So it was a whole game plan for that. And he put up a fantastic fight. So, you know what I'm saying? So it looks like you prime memory number one. But I tell you one thing. I'm telling you, and I don't care what anybody say, they did a lot of that shit because they in Virginia. They are incredibly lucky that his cousins, his brothers, and all that all fight with Wu and support Wu were not at that event and not in that back locker room. Because it would have been up. You know what I'm saying? Wu is a very, very likable guy. He's very approachable. He's very humble. You could talk to him. He's dope. He's down to earth. There's nothing I don't know anybody that can say something negative about Wu. The man sings, like, you know what I'm saying? So you gonna go ahead and act like this, like because you lost? Come on, bro. Nah, I'm not buying that.
Hearing the interview afterwards, when he was explaining everything that happened, he seemed like he was just, like normally he's just a chill bull, like, and just like, why that type? Of course, you're going to hear the other side be excited and happy. It wasn't going all crazy and stuff like that, talking about him like that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, they were excited and happy. They just won the fight. How would you react if it was you that won?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like you would be reacting the same exact way that this camp is doing.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean?
100%.
It would have been even worse because they in their hometown. They would have been doing the whole trolling, all that stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's what would have happened if it that's how it would have won.
No, 100%. Now listen, right? All this was broadcasted on ESPN. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, yo, You just made yourself, your name look bad. And he's still a good fighter, bro. His brother is still, Calvin is still a good fighter. He just, Wu was just way too experienced and he couldn't make the adjustments. It is what it is. His younger brother, Ken, he could rumble. Why not take that and turn it into something else? Y'all had a thing going. Y'all had the three brothers. Y'all had something going. You fuck it up for what? Come on, bro. I'm not buying that. All that making weight shit, I'm not trying to hear that. The only time a person shouldn't make weight is if there's not competition and then you feel better with the rehydration. Say, you know what, I like this weight right here. So I'm going to just move up in weight. There's no competition here anyway. And then move up. I'm cool with that. But say that.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't just see the passion of Rob for this last 15 minutes talking about this fight, this situation, I don't know what y'all looking at. And
it's crazy. I hate it, bro. I hate it. I hate when fighters do that shit. You just find an excuse. And I'm not buying that. Crawford's a different situation. He's moving up the weight. He wants to challenge himself. He wants to be great. He's already stamped in the Hall of Fame, but I just want to go after the big fish. I want to go after the big dog. I want to go after the face of boxing. That's what I want. Win, lose, or draw, Crawford still wins.
Mm-hmm.
He still wins. So it don't matter.
Hey, Rob, what's your thoughts on that fight?
So if I got Canelo and I got Canelo, I had Canelo stopping him. I still think he can. If Crawford sticks to a solid game plan, which I know that Bomac and the rest of his team will, because they're it's a good team. If they stick to a game plan, he can outbox Canelo. We've seen Canelo get outboxed, and we see him getting outboxed before, everything came crashing down and he went for the stoppage. So we've seen it. The point that I want people to understand, anybody in any run who says that Crawford's going to go up in weight and just wipe the floor with Canelo and knock him out, you tripping. That's not going to happen. We got a guy who's taking punches by guys way above your level, way above punching power, way above rehydration levels. And you're going to come in here and just go and clean him out? You understand? That's not happening. That's not happening. And then at the end of the day, bro, Crawford, right? He came from 147 pounds. Everybody's going to remember Crawford with Spence. If the Spence fight never happened, I promise you, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. Because Porter was beating Crawford. And then he made some mistakes. Crawford got him out of there. Which, in reality, his dad, Kenny, said that he was going to throw in the towel if he saw that his son was in danger because he had a shitty camp. So no matter what happened, his son was gonna lose, because if he got in trouble, he was gonna throw in the towel. So but we gotta give him the credit when credit's due, right? Then he fights Spence. Spence coming off of a 2-year layoff, 2 car accidents, and a torn retina. Definitely not the same Spence, but it is a good name to have on your resume. He goes up to 54. He doesn't have the same type of performance that he did at 47 or 40. But this is the same man that went up to 54 and is supposed to knock out Canelo. That's what y'all telling me? That's not happening. No one ain't happening. So think about this, right? Canelo, for the sake of the topic, Canelo, let's just say he walks around 200, right? Walks around 200, going to come down, fight at 168. He walks around 190, cool, let's make it fair. Comes down to 168. He's going to perform at 168. He's used to performing at 168. Crawford is going to go from 147. He went up to 182 is what he posted, to go down to 168 to rehydrate to what? What you're rehydrating to? You're going to go up to a weight that you're already comfortable walking around in but not competing in, opposed to a man that came down from a 200 level, 190, coming down. So when he rehydrates, he's going to go all the way up to what? 200, probably 195. And that's the same man that's gonna knock this man out. That's what y'all telling me? Make it make sense. How many times have any three of y'all where to eat something and y'all eating, y'all enjoying yourself, y'all out there in the barbecues, y'all playing basketball, y'all playing football, whatever, and then y'all say, hold on now. Let me give me like 5 minutes. It don't feel right.
Mm-hmm.
Crawford's naturally athletic, though. You know what I'm saying? He was a wrestler, great fighter, very smart, great IQ. I think the fight is well even matched on paper because the last time Canelo faced anybody like in this caliber was probably Islam Lara or Mayweather. So it does make sense. But Canelo isn't the same Canelo that we've seen 5 years ago. Yeah. So it's a possibility that Crawford can win. But how are you going to win? Because we all seen Crawford get touched with a shot. He get wobbled, and now he want to bang. So if you want to bang with him, then do what you're supposed to do. So what's next, though? You know what I'm saying? Crawford beats Canelo. What? He could beat Benavidez now? He could beat Better Beef? He could beat Bivol? He could beat Wilder? Oh, what are we talking about? Come on, man. Stop it. It's not that deep. You know what I'm saying? I respect Crawford. I respect Bomac, they whole entire squad. But I just don't see Crawford knocking him out. I can see him out boxing him.
All right, so here's my question. If people want to get in contact with you for you to give them the skills that they need to be the next, is your IG the best way of reaching you?
Yeah. I'm very approachable. So I get people DM me all the time. They always ask me a bunch of questions. They always want to talk to me. They even ask me general questions like, yo, listen, I'm trying to lose 10, 15 pounds. What do I do? And I don't care, bro. This information is free game, bro. It was given to me. Bro. I'm gonna tell you a quick story, right? So I'm gonna tell you how, first of all, I got into strength and conditioning because I ended up getting hurt. I was a boxer first, I got hurt, and I had sciatic problems. I got into a car accident, messed me up, it was a wrap. But I worked at Bally Total Fitness. And there was a guy there, and his name was Will, personal trainer, dude. And I spoke to Will, but not on a frequent basis. So it was kind of odd how he approached me one time. He said, yo, you want to learn how to be a personal trainer? And I'm doing membership. So I'm like, all right. You know what I'm saying? So I'm new to learn. So he breaks it down, and he goes, the way you figure out the human body is the same way you figure out what makes sense and what doesn't. So I'm like, explain. So he goes, how is it that gorillas can rip a human from limb to limb, but yet they eat vegetables, they eat plant-based, but yet they're so strong? My response was basically because they're animals, but they're mammals though. Right? Okay. Then he said, next one. Why is it that when men go to jail, all they do is work out, rest, and that's it. Work out and rest. And they get so big. But the minute they come home, they get bloated again. They get fat. They get this. They get that. He was like, so what do you think that is? You think that prisoners can go to the table and say, yo, let me get that salad. Let me get a protein shake, some fruit. You know, that doesn't happen like that. He was like, so explain that to me. So then he goes, last one. You think that the military can sit there and train people for battle when their life is on the line and they're training 14, 15, 16, over to 20 hours a day, depending on the branch you're in or the division that you're in. And you're still going to go out there and perform? There's something that we're not doing. And then he said, figure that out. So I started doing some research, and that conversation triggered the curiosity to want to learn this shit so much, man. I bought books, magazines. I had so much shit, right? And then I never saw Will again. He didn't quit the job. He didn't call to quit. He didn't tell nobody he was leaving. Nothing. He had that conversation with him. I thought it was his day off. I never saw him again.
Wow.
Shit is crazy. I never saw him again. So what I did was I always asked about him. Yo, where's Will? Where's Will coming back? Where's Will coming back? GM is like, craziest thing is I never heard from him again. I ran into a couple friends that worked with me back then. And I say, yo, y'all remember Will? They gonna sit there and say, what Will? No, I don't remember no Will. And I'm like, yo, stop playing me, man. I said, Black Will. He was training with such and such. I'm mentioning people. And they're like, no, I don't remember no Will. And I'm like, yo, y'all fucking with me, man. So I stopped telling that story. But after that, I took that and I ran with it. Yep.
Will was the angel, bro.
You know what? Jokingly, I was going to say, was you really talking to somebody, or was that like a real?
No. Keep it a beat. No, listen. It fucked me up so bad. I started questioning that. I'm like, yo, nah, he was real, bro.
Right.
Like, bro, if I knew how to draw, I could draw what his face looked like.
Right.
He had 2 daughters. He had a wife. This dude drove in a Honda. Like, there's no way my brain made all that up, bro.
Right.
So it was crazy that he just, that was it. So around that time, I had a trainer named was Vaughn Jackson. And he's the trainer who trained me. And he gave me the style. But then he says one day, he goes, yo, since, you know, you're dealing with your injuries, you want to learn how to be a coach? I said, let's go. So he started teaching me. So he started teaching me little tricks, little trades and everything else. And he gave me my first lesson. And I'll pause it here. So he'll go, all right, we're going to train. We're going to put you in this position. So then I started working with fighters. I started working with this fighter. Back then, his name was Mike Jones. Mike Jones was like the top guy at the time coming out of Philly. He was knocking everybody out. And me and Mike didn't tend to work out after 2.5 years, 3 years of work. And I decided to walk. I was on my way to his fight, and I quit on the AC Expressway. I was on my way there, and I pulled over. I called Vaughn. I said, yo, Vaughn, I can't do this no more, bro. I'm done. And I didn't want to bother him no more because he had to focus on the fight. So I did a U-turn, and I went back home. After that, I got a call for this guy named LaJuan Simon. LaJuan Simon was fighting Arthur Abraham, who was holding the world title, but he had to fight him in Germany. I got him ready for that. So then as time went, I just started getting better at the shit. So funny thing is, Joel would probably know the story. So if y'all have access to a computer and you look up Philly Boxing 1-on-1 and you see the logo is Philly Boxing and then it's 1-on-1. So in short terms, it's Philly Boxing 101 for educational reasons. But the reason why it was called Philly Boxing 101 was because Vaughn gave me my first lesson, and he said, before you become a coach, I need you to learn something. I want you to master something. I said, what's that? He said, when you get up in that apron and it's you, your fighter, and your team, who's fighting? And I'm like, our guy versus their guy. He was like, okay, who else? Obviously, he draws a blank, right? Because he's drawing a blank for y'all. And he goes, it's the fighter versus that fighter. It's the coach versus that coach. It's the second versus that second. It's the cutman versus that cutman. It's the strength coach versus that strength coach. No matter what happens with your team, it's always a 1-on-1.
Ooh.
I'm like, that shit deep. So that's when Philly Boxing was born off of that theory. So then I took that, and then when the person that was creating my logo, I needed something that had to do with Philly, but nothing cliche. I didn't want like the basic shit. You know what I'm saying? So he goes, what's your color scheme? I said, I want green, orange, red, white, and blue. He goes, that's too many colors. And I'm like, bro, if you can't do it, then don't do it. I'll get somebody else to do it. He said, no, we're going to do it. He designed the logo. Came out beautiful. You could pull it up. Joel knows what it looks like. A gorgeous logo, right? So then after it gets posted, everybody was like, what's the significance of the colors? And I was like, the orange is for the Flyers, the green is for the Eagles, and the red, white, and blue is for the Sixers and the Phillies. So then that's what my color scheme was. That's how it started. And I'm here now.
I love it, man. I love it.
Crazy.
So I'm gonna be the guy to ask the question. What fight with the current fighters that we have right now would you love to see, and why?
That I would love to see fight each other.
Yeah, like what matchup? I know you didn't want to see Pacquiao versus Barrios. I know you didn't want to see that.
I don't give a fuck about that. Well, am I excluding the people that I worked with and working with?
Yeah, whatever you want to do. What would you think would be the biggest fight in boxing right now, or one that you would love to see?
I would love to see Boots become undisputed, which we know that's probably not going to happen. Boots always had that problem, even years. Even one time we was in Puerto Rico, and he couldn't get an opponent, and his dad tried to finesse some fighters over there to take the fight, even trying to fight people 2 times in one night. He always had that problem. So I would like to see Boots become undisputed. If not, go up to 54 and have a good quality opponent. Like, I would like to see Boots fight like Mendoza, Brian Mendoza. I think that would be a good fight to see how the adjustments can be made. I would like to see Canelo Benavidez. I would like to see Better Beef and Canelo too. I got Better Beef though. I would like to see Shakur and Andy Cruz. I would like to see Tank and Dev. I would like to see a couple people win some titles that are well deserved, man. You know what I'm saying? Like in the past. Yeah, there it go. Nice. Got some slick ass people. I see you. But no, like so right now, I worked with Stefan Folt in his last fight to get him ready for Brandon Figueroa too. We worked for that one. So I'm excited for the future for Scoop. Stamping his legacy to make history, even though he's already made history, but this kind of like solidifies him. And I think he's gonna do a great job. And then we got the up and coming guys. You know what I'm saying? So there's a couple fights I would like to see how it goes.
Definitely, I agree with the majority of those, man. I mean, the whole undisputed thing for Boots, man. I mean, back when you started the gym, like I had the pleasure of meeting them back then when we was there, and
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, who's this kid? And they were like, oh, you don't know who he is? And then you just started keeping an eye on him, and that was back in 17, 16, 17.
Yeah.
And then now the last couple years, that's when everyone really started taking notice and know who he is now. You know what I mean? But
that's a special dude, bro.
I mean, look,
I've stand on it. He's going to be one of those guys you'll see every 10 years and maybe. You know what I'm saying? Right. He's really, really, really special.
So we had the opportunity to go in there and train with Ron one day. Me and Tone actually went.
Mm-hmm.
And then after we got done the training, he was like, hey, listen, like if you guys, we did the whole little training thing, gassed us, we tapping out 2 minutes in.
Mm-hmm.
And then next thing you know, he's like, look, they spar on this day, y'all want to slide through, so I'm like, yo, Tone, you want to slide through? So we end up going through there, and I'll let Tone tell you, because I already knew like what Boots could do, but we were literally right there on the opposite side of the ropes.
Was this your first time meeting him, Tone?
Yeah, in person, yeah, for sure. Yep.
Sparring?
Yep. Yeah.
Sparring too. Yeah. Like literally, we were like right on the opposite side of the rope.
I don't even gotta know who he sparred, bro. I know you got a treat.
He sparred Cool Boy. He like it was was crazy, man. Like I think it was what they only could throw jabs or something like that
Oh, the
at that
circle.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Yeah.
man, and like Joe said, man, even going through what we went through with Ryan, man, like when we left that gym that day, I just had a different perspective of boxers. Period. You know what I mean? Because one thing that stood out to me that Ryan said to us was we were just throwing punches. You know what I mean? Throwing the combinations that he was telling
Yeah.
us to throw. And he was like, one thing that wasn't happening is he was like, nobody was throwing punches at you. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gassing at you. I'm like, I'm like, come on, man. Like, this ain't over.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm like, damn, you still gotta be on defense. You still gotta, move around. Like, that was just a quarter of, what boxers have to do, man. And that sport, man, is definitely, like I said, I looked at it differently, man. Commend anybody who does that, for a living, to go 12 rounds. I was done after a minute and 30 seconds. I was
Yeah.
like, dude, you going through this in 12 rounds? No way.
Bro.
No way.
So
White flag in the back of my pocket, yo.
I work with a couple NFL guys, right? And one of my closest friends and also one of my guys that I work with, his name is Daryl Worley, right? Played for the Titans. He
Yeah.
came. You know who Daryl was? So he when he first came on, he's an athlete. So in our eyes, all right, I'm gonna take you to this level because you're not at this level because you got athleticism. He told me today, he was like, bro, when I go into the season next year and people say that they animals in this and animals in that, he was like, no. Boxing, y'all different. It's different. So I'll put it to you like this, and I'm gonna ask y'all the question. Imagine you never boxed before, you're young, say y'all 15, 16 years old, right? Y'all came to me and said, yo, I want to be a boxer. I want to learn how to box. And I say to you, all right, listen. Most people, most coaches will say, oh, yeah, man. Yeah, I'll teach you how to box. And then they don't teach you the raw truth about boxing, which is why I love guys like Greg Hackett. Like, Greg is my man. And he educates so many people on how boxing should be looked at. So now I ask you this question. Imagine I come to you and I say, all right, listen, I'll teach you how to box, but you got to answer this question realistically. The risk is you got to sacrifice eating. You got to cut weight. You can't have any sex before a fight. You're not going to get paid in the beginning. You're going to spar. You got to be completely okay. You could get your jaw broke, teeth knocked out, and possibly knocked out in front of your whole family, and you can die doing this. You still want to do it?
Mm.
You see how y'all thinking? Y'all see that, right? Friend, like, oh no, man, that's some. You got to be a special person. But in boxing, like Tone was saying, it's so multitaskful. You gotta shoot the jab, catch the jab, then you gotta move. You gotta be like, okay, I gotta set up this shot. So as I'm thinking, he's thinking, and then I gotta react to what he's reacting. There's nothing in boxing that is a second long. Everything is a milli of a second. Anything can happen in a milli of a second. They throw a 1-2 combination. If you catch it and you're not coming back, you just lost that opportunity. The window of opportunity is only half a millisecond long, and then it closes, and then it's gone. You know what I'm saying? So you got to keep it. And then for Tone, imagine you being that gassed out, and it's the first minute and a half, you said? Okay, first minute and a half round, right? And you gassed out, you trying to throw, and then you got a guy like Isaac Cruz. There's no one can break it up. So it's not like you could grab the ref or you could look at your homies like, yo, hurry up and jump in this bitch. You know what I'm saying? No, ain't none of that. You got to take it.
Right.
Pause. You got to really, really take that ass whipping. So imagine an Isaac Cruz, a Marcos Madonna, or somebody that got a tank full of gas. Oh, I'm going to get your ass now. Imagine how you feel, bro. Most streets end in a minute, probably.
Right. Not if that. Right.
If that. And the minute somebody get touched, it's like, oh my God. You know what I mean? You got to be okay with getting punched in the mouth.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Love it.
I love it. It's
Oh,
crazy.
we can tell. We can tell. You can find this man and all his knowledge right there. Here's your chance. Here's your opportunity.
Thank you, bro.
That's his IG. tag right there. I'm gonna keep it right there for a little bit so everybody can catch it. If you don't hear the passion, well, okay, pause. Oh, whatever, Tony. Rob, you see what I'm talking about?
See what I'm saying?
You see what I'm talking about? You see what I'm talking about, bro? See, off camera. Y'all guys don't know. Off camera, we were just talking about tone.
How you rocking, bro? That's
Anyway.
My bad.
Funny. That's hysterical, bro. Keep it going.
Trying to do the promotion thing. Anyway, every single thing that Rob has for y'all when it comes to strength, when it comes to coaching, when it comes to inspiration, when it comes to just being a better individual in the sport of boxing, or just being a better person, you'll find all that information right there under his tag. So please take a picture of that, clip it, do whatever you want, but make sure you get in contact with this man. If you don't hear the passion coming from this man when it comes to the sport of boxing, then I don't know what the heck y'all was listening to. My man has everything that you can ask for when it comes to that world of boxing.
Bro. Hey, yo, before y'all end this, listen, right? So we got a couple fighters fighting this Friday at the 2300 arena. We got a guy I work with. His name's Tamir Smalls. We're shooting for the 15th win. You know, we got Dennis Thompson, who signed to Boost Promotions. We got Brandon Pizarro, you know, great talent. We got Leon Cruz, who's going to be soon a world champion. We got Keith Colon. We got a lot of guys that are fighting on this card. You don't want to miss this card. And if y'all can't attend to this card, I'm pretty sure you could stream it somewhere to show the support. So that way you can start grasping on who's who. So when you see these guys out, you know, you could show your love.
That's a great venue to go to. Great venue to go to.
Yeah, anywhere you sit is a great seat.
Absolutely.
Yeah, anywhere you sit.
There is no bad seats. But hey, look, started off, we're going to go ahead and end the show. We've been going strong, Pauls, for 1 hour, 37 minutes long, Pauls.
And 2.
There you go. There you go. You got 2 episodes in one, people. You got 2 episodes in one. Rob, we appreciate you so much, bro. Seriously.
Oh, man. Appreciate y'all, man. And thank you for the first conversation in the beginning, man. That's something I'm just glad I didn't even know I did. You know what I'm saying? Bro, I'm gonna go to bed happy today. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
I'm happy about what we talked about, bro. Appreciate y'all.
It is go to show once again, you know, the things or the things that we go through.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily mean that we're going through it because of us.
Right.
We're going through it because other people are there to witness it.
Yeah.
So it's time to shut them down. Bring up the music. Any last words, sir?
Just want to say for all the guys out there who are struggling, going through some mental issues, mental difficulties, listen, man, just bite down. It's not over till it's over. Just it's okay to get help. It's okay, you know, to show vulnerability to those that you do trust. As far as boxing, please respect these fighters. Anybody could die doing this. We have plenty of fighters who died doing this. I've seen a fighter die doing this. Please respect these fighters. Don't call nobody a bum unless you put on some gloves and try it on yourself. Other than that, keep supporting. Make sure y'all keep supporting my guys over here and show love.
Oh, man. Bird Gang.
Nah, listen, man. Huge shout out to Rob for coming through, blessing the pod with his presence and his knowledge on the boxing tip, from the mental health standpoint, and most of all, your friendship, good bro, be for life, my guy. But listen, please, just like Rob said, please continue to support GNT Sportstalk, like, comment, subscribe, share the content. You already know, Bird Gang, checking out.
He had a little case of the Genos there at the end. Go ahead, Tone.
Yeah, man. Right. But yo, yeah, man. Thank you, Rob, man, for joining the show, man. You know, we got that message a little early in the week from Joe. You know, saying that we had a big show coming up, great guest, man. So I appreciate you, jumping on the podcast, talking about the men's mental health, situation, giving us, your perspective behind it, man, and the passion that you have for being a boxing, trainer or strength and conditioning coach, man. Salute to you on that, man. May God bless that path for you and continue to bless that path for you, man. So thank you for joining GNT, Sports Talk, and thank y'all for tuning in. Episode 94, GNT Sports Talk. Continue to support. Like we always say, like, comment, subscribe, share. You know what I mean? We only get on here to talk talk, have some fun, enjoy, man. So appreciate y'all for that. And of course, every week I say, or every week I say it. I'm the promoter. My name's on the screen. What do? I'm running a show called Laugh the Pain Away every third Friday of the month. Tap in. Next show, June 20th. It's going to be our Father's Day show. You know what I mean? So whole mail, line up. It's going to be a good show, man. Got some decent talent coming down. You know what I mean? In here, free wine. Intersection of Manny Young, Philadelphia, man. So tap in. Tickets still available. Follow me on Instagram. Hit the link in the bio. I'll see y'all June 20th. Thank y'all for tapping in GNT Sports Talk. Let's get it.
Hey, we once again appreciate every single one of y'all for tuning in, for being there with us throughout this whole entire episode. Rob, as we tell all of our guests that's on here, especially one like you and your caliber, sir, you're not just a guest here, man. You're family with us. All right. So whenever you need us, wherever you want us to show up or do anything for you to strengthen your company and strengthen everything you do, the GNT crew got your back, bro. So whatever what you need, man.
Hey, man, I want me to wear some merchandise. I'm out there. Whatever y'all need me to do.
My man. Whatever support you need, you got it from the GNT crew because you're family now.
Appreciate it, bro.
And nobody could take away family. You know what I mean? So, yeah, capiche. Great episode. Good night, fellas. Good night. Yeah, it's always good seeing you, my dear. Thank you once again for tuning in. For everyone that's out there that's not Yasmin, I would say this. If y'all guys found the time to go ahead and voice down what may be ailing you or bothering you and you have no one to talk to, that's why GNT Sports Talk has an IG. That's why we have the comment section below. If y'all want just someone to talk to in the midst of your struggle, in the midst of your situation, please, I'm imploring you to please just drop your information or just your comment down. I promise you we'll respond. We'll respond to everything that's funny, so especially when they have been laughing at me at something. But but we'll definitely respond when it comes to you just getting support. So if you need the GNT crew just to say hi or say what's up to y'all, hey, we're here for y'all as well.
Appreciate y'all.
You stuck now. Whatever, Aaliyah. I don't know what that means. Anyway, God bless every single one of y'all. Rob, don't hang up. We got everybody end up hanging up as soon as we say bye. But God bless every single one of y'all. Until next time, GNT crew, we out.
All right, bro.